toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
What's going on, everybody? Fill in your answer here. Okay.
Oh,
Great.
It's nice to hear. It's good.
Oh, it's good.
Good. Oh, really? I'm sorry about that. No.
Yeah. Hey, you know,
I'm not that bad in person.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, so tonight, TV, Mando and Picard, and Last of Us. We haven't really talked about Last of Us since we watched the first episode, but the finale was this week. So spoilers, if you haven't seen this stuff, you should be. So we've given you enough time. Right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
I mean, the ratings were enormous for the finale, so I think everybody that wanted to watch it watched it.
I would imagine. That's one of the shows that you can't wait till someone's going to say something, and, you know, you don't want that to happen. So,
well, and unlike most shows where nobody really knows what's going to happen, in this case, it was following a video game that people knew how it was going to end. So,
is it following the video game that clearly? That
I think it is. The ending of the show was the ending of the game.
A lot of what the play is what, you know, are things that we've seen happen throughout.
No.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that.
I don't know anything about the game, and I don't want to. So, anyway, okay, we'll talk about all that stuff. Let's go random. I have two that are specifically for Barry.
Oh, cool.
Do you have something that's
I bet I know at
for
least
you?
one of them.
Okay. I'm going to go. Willow is canceled after one season.
My God, no.
That was one of mine, but did you read the Variety article? Is that where you saw it?
No, I just saw it Hollywood Reporters, same thing, I guess.
So I read it in Variety. But here's the thing that made me laugh, and I pulled a quote from the article. They said the series received mostly positive reviews from critics, with the first season holding an 83% critical approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know who these critics are that watched it and liked it. That's shocking to me. But here's the other part that made me laugh. In the review, this guy named Joshua Alston wrote, the show's perfect balance of reverence and irreverence is what immediately catapults Willow to the upper echelon of Disney Plus series.
Oh, my God.
Oh, like, we watched very different shows, and this Joshua person probably wasn't alive when the movie came out, so it doesn't have any real context for what it was about the movie that people liked.
I would say, I would bet without question that Joshua lives in a state with legalized marijuana.
Most likely.
I cannot explain it under any other circumstances, because you got to be high to come out of that show with that perception.
And I made it all the way to the end, unlike most people, just because I felt a sense of obligation. But not surprising at all. And honestly, if it was renewed, I don't think I would have watched it. So,
wow, cool. All right,
burn me once, you know. I mean, it was that bad, and you know, I'm the easy one to please.
You are the easy one to please.
Boy, yes. If your bar is so low, if this,
I mean, come on.
And this was built up in your head that. Yeah.
All I needed was a little wizard and a little, you know, redheaded sorceress, and I would have been good. And they just screwed it up. Anyway, what's your other one, Dave?
This proves, just to say, Barry, this proves your integrity. This does.
Yes.
Okay, so your integrity as a critic.
There is a line.
You call it what it is.
There's a line. Good.
You call it how you see it, and then this is now the baseline for total.
Oh, I knew we were going to actually talk about something else, but that's fine. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
No, when we were talking about what the show is, it'll be 5 minutes. What we did over the weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did do some stuff. Okay,
we'll talk about that. No, mine is very random. But why don't you go, Barry? What do you got?
All right. So Bob Iger was asked about the future of Star Wars movies, like in the theater. These are his quotes. Rogue One did quite well. Solo was a little disappointing to us. It gave us a pause to just think maybe the cadence was a little too aggressive. He says, so then we decided to pull back a bit. We are still developing Star Wars films. We're going to make sure that when we make one, that it's the right one, and we are being very careful there.
That is saying nothing with a fair amount of words.
Well, it's saying when we finally decide to take one of the ideas we have and actually go to production with it, we will be very confident that it's the right one.
So all the rumors of everyone's going to start is not
I didn't believe for a second
true.
there was anything even in pre-production. I mean, they keep throwing things around. All the things they throw out there sound like red herrings. Like, oh, there's a lot of interest, and we're having meetings.
Well, I think that's probably partly true. But freaking Patty Jenkins made a teaser where she was in a flight suit.
And
that was a real movie in pre-production.
And then backed away from that.
Or it was taken away
and
from
then they
her,
saw
right?
Wonder Woman 1984.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's the case. You would think that'd be good that that's the case. But
yeah. Well, I'm guessing if we're going to get any kind of announcement at all, we're going to get it in April at Star Wars Celebration Europe, but we'll see.
Probably.
And that will be 2 years out?
At least.
Celebration is this April, but they'll probably announce something. Yeah, they'll probably announce something for 25. So they're going
to if they announce something, we're still 2 years away.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they actually had plans and just aren't saying it. But I don't feel like they're that organized.
Oh, I don't either.
Unless the Damon Lindelof thing is real. We just don't know, though. They've never formally announced it.
Everybody's in. We should announce. We are making a Star Wars.
Yeah, we're making a Star Wars.
We're making a Star Wars.
Yeah, it's going to be with action figures.
We're having good conversations with Kathleen.
Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner.
You caught me. I almost said Kathleen Turner. Yeah,
you might as well.
It felt like that's what you were about to say.
Yeah, we had Kathleen Kennedy. We're having good meetings. She hasn't shown up for any of them, but we are in serious.
But those are positive when those are the positive
when
kind.
She doesn't show up because really she would just like shit the bed. So it's yeah.
Todd, what do you got?
So I don't know if we talked about this before, but there's a Blade Runner 2099 series that's in production or in pre-production for Amazon. It's reported that Jomi Comer is.
Oh yeah, she's in talks.
That would be interesting. I think it would be interesting to have a Blade
female
Runner
replicant Blade Runner being her. I like that idea.
I do too. I think that could be interesting.
That is cool.
And again, if we're going 50 years in the future, so basically, they jumped 30 years last, right? Was it how long did they?
30 years.
Yeah, there was 30.
So again, you could see a lot of change in that time, and you could also see. You could see replicants becoming widespread and then going off the rails again. Mm-hmm. So it's a long enough period of time that anything could happen. I think that could be really, really interesting.
And they did also announce that there was a guy who directed one or some of the Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Is going to be sort of the showrunner and stuff, so that makes it sound more realistic.
I like her too. I think she was obviously good as Villanelle, but she's been in other things too. Like I saw her in that movie Free Guy. I don't know if either of you saw that.
Yeah,
but I think she's good. She's got more to her than just playing crazy Villanelle. So
yep.
I like that idea.
The writer from Blade Runner 2049 is executive producer. So
that sounds good.
And
I'm in on that.
I think they did. I like that movie. So
I did too.
So we'll see.
We know Daryl did. Jesus.
We know
Daryl.
Yep.
Top 5.
So yeah. Anyways, something interesting to look forward to.
All right. My next one is definitely Barry centric, but I'm going to put a picture. I don't know if you saw this in the.
Oh, it's so funny. I was going to share the exact same picture.
Do you know what it is?
I know what it is without you even sending it, but send it.
Is that it?
That's it. I'm going to show you. I was just poised to send you this. Same thing. That is the happy picture of the week for me. That makes me so happy. So Todd, are you seeing that?
I'm seeing it. Yep.
So J.J. Abrams, Spielberg, and Guillermo del Toro apparently go shopping for models and get together on Sundays and build them.
That's just amazing.
Okay. So if this is totally made up and this doesn't really happen, I want to believe it does.
Awesome. It's funny. Did you read the comments in that picture, in that thing, Barry?
Yeah.
So people were talking about it, and then the hobby shop, I believe it's Burbank Hobby something or other, commented like, that's, if you're using our picture, you should at least tag us. So that was their picture.
Yeah, those guys were now, whether it happens every weekend or not, those three guys were in there together and buying bags full of model kits.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
awesome.
clearly a hobby shop. I mean, if you look at the things going on behind that group of people, it's a real hobby shop.
So you got to wonder whether they actually build the models or whether they like combine them and build other stuff.
Burbank House of Hobbies, I believe.
Whether they're like kit bashing or something, or
Guillermo probably is. He's making
Yeah.
everything covered in blood.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I I'd be very, very curious. But that's
It's
cool.
so funny. I had the same exact picture ready to share, Dave.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, and that's not even something I'd follow. It just happened to show up in my feed.
It showed up in one of my model groups on Facebook. Somebody had copied it and pasted it and put it
Have
in
you
there.
zoomed
So
in, Barry, and tried to figure out what the kits are in the bag? 'Cause-
I haven't, but it just.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I recognized Guillermo immediately in that photo. It took me a second to realize that was JJ and Spielberg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because I read that it was them first.
Yep,
It's
that's
awesome.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yep.
I got one other quick one.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if you saw this today, Todd, but Zack Snyder apparently tweeted this cryptic message today saying, what did it say exactly? It said, it was a video, and it said, in the video you can hear a garbled radio transmission followed by Darkseid telling people to save the date, April 28th to 30th, and that there was going to be some kind of something happening, and Zack Snyder put the hashtag full circle. Nobody knows what it is, but I mean, presumably the Snyderverse is dead, and I don't think that James Gunn's bringing him back to direct anything. So who knows what this is? But it's Darkseid and April 28th and April 30th is the time
so
frame.
do you think the Flash movie just kills that universe once and for all?
Probably. I can't
So
imagine
I
it
think-
doesn't.
I think that may be something to do with it. Maybe his characters are acknowledged in there, and that's
Maybe.
yeah.
When does the Flash come out, though?
Not till June.
Yeah. April 28th to 30th is a lot sooner than the Flash comes
Maybe
out.
We could
he's-
also be seeing. We could be seeing an updated trailer that
Oh,
involves
that could be.
that stuff.
Why would he say it though? Is he involved in the Flash
I
movie?
didn't think he was.
Maybe he's at like the Hollywood popular pop culture convention,
Or he's going to be
autographs.
signing autographs at In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah. Who
Hey,
knows?
look, I'm more a fan of the Snyderverse than not a fan, so I'm curious to see what this is.
Boy, I got to think about that. Now, wait a minute. I'm counting. I might be less than more. If I could do a la carte and pick elements, I could say I'm a fan.
Is
but
Wonder Woman in the Snyderverse?
It is.
Yeah.
Did he direct that?
No, but it was
It's
characters that he set up and
that
set in
is
motion.
his-
Yeah, I guess.
So that's what I'm saying. Is Wonder Woman.
There you go, Wonder Woman.
Man of Steel, Batman v Superman director's cut, and Justice League Snyder cut. I liked all three.
Okay, so Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and Wonder Woman. I mean, I wasn't even counting that because that wasn't something he directed. But
Take Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck was good. Anyway, I think we can go round and round.
I know
about this.
we've treaded that ground many times. But
You know who there is no distinction of feelings about, or no differentiating of feeling, is Fanboy Collectibles. That was a horrible segue. We all
was
love
bad,
Fanboy
Dick.
Collectibles.
We all love him.
We all love them.
we do, and I just want to go on record as saying I don't believe that every time somebody says, "Hey Troy, send me a blank," that it will come in the mail. But I do want to say, last week I said, Troy, I really need one of those Ronnie James Dio Funko Pops, and look what I got. It's not even a week later, and it's
Oh,
already
that's
here.
awesome.
There you go.
Troy's the best.
Sweet. What's up for pre-order? Hot Toys, Bad Batch, Tech, and Wrecker. I guess they're going through all those dudes.
Yeah, I think
So
they
they'll
had
have
already
all of them?
done the first guy, Hunter. They had already done
Yep.
Hunter, so this is
Yeah,
a
so
follow.
they'll get all those guys. Kotobukiya Vulcan science officer who looks just like our pal Riddle. Check it
Yeah,
out.
the
Riddle, if you haven't seen it.
Bishuju statue.
Yeah.
That's an awesome
Exactly.
piece.
Yep.
Scream
ordered
1/4
it.
inch statues, you're referring to that, and Pops, as you saw, and Hot Toys and Sideshow and Hasbro and everything you need. They got everything. You just say it on the air and they'll just tell you they got it. So
Just
check
go to
those
your
guys
window
out.
and shout it out the window and see what happens. But then go to their website and order it.
Yes, yeah, you could do that and then go to their website. They got everything you need. Check them out at fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Especially you live in Newtown, Connecticut, they may hear you if you yell at your window. Tell them the regular Joe sent you. Thank you, Troy, for all you do for us.
Yes.
And when we get to what's in the box, we'll let you know more about
Him
that.
again. Yeah.
Okay. So quickly, Barry. Well, you went to a toy show.
Yeah, so I did. I actually, and this is maybe the first time in 10 years that I went to 2 shows in one weekend.
Oof.
I know, it's crazy, right? I went to a small toy show here on Long Island on Saturday. I found out about it the night before and went, and it was $5 to get in. It was like a flashback to 20 years ago. It was a small VFW hall, or Knights of Columbus VFW. I think it was VFW hall. But it was fun. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't get anything, but there was some cool stuff there to look at. I ran into some people I haven't seen in a really long time from the old, toy show circuit. So it was fun. But then Sunday, I had told Dave in the days leading up to it that I had found out that there was this show in New Jersey. It was New Jersey Collector Fest, it was called.
Yeah, something like that. Was in Wayne, New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, again, a relatively small show, but they had some guests. The most notable for us was a guy named Carl Toop, who I honestly had never heard of.
So he was notable, but we never heard of
notable,
him.
but yeah.
He became notable when I saw that they had the word aliens above his name and photo, and I'm like, who was he in Aliens? Turns out that he's a French gentleman, and he's the guy that was in the alien warrior costume during all the action scenes. So anytime the alien warrior attacked somebody or was running down a hallway, it was him.
Is he a tall, skinny dude?
He's skinny, but not super tall.
Interesting.
I think he's a dancer. That's probably why they used him. But
If you look him up on IMDb, he has one credit: Aliens.
Really?
yeah. But
So
it
he knew a
seems
guy-
legit.
He knew a guy who said, "Could you do this?"
Kind of like Anthony Daniels. You'll fit in the suit. Come on.
Yeah.
But he also knows how to move the right way, I
Yeah.
guess. So
Yep.
He was
But
super nice guy.
it was
I
really
mean,
nice. I mean, why shouldn't he be? He's there, people paying him for his autograph and picture. But he was nice.
So-
And it was also kind of a bit of a flashback price wise, right? I mean, he was for get an autograph and take your picture with him was $40. That's like reasonable in this day
for a
and
guy
age.
that you'd never heard of.
So if you were in one movie 30 some odd years ago, how do you break in the autograph biz? Do you call someone and say, "Hey, I'm that guy. Can you book me?" I mean, or do you call the show?
I have a feeling that he does shows in Europe
He had a handler
No.
there.
because and he also, I don't know if you noticed, Dave, he had a necklace with like a xenomorph on it.
Yeah, he's definitely leaning into the aliens thing. So maybe. But I mean, for a small show, there were people. There was the typical guy with a wheelbarrow full of stuff, that getting a ton of stuff signed.
Interesting.
I just
we
sent you a
added them
picture,
to
Todd,
our-
so you can see
to our
height
posters.
relative to me. But yeah, I mean, the nice thing to me was it's somebody we've never seen at a show before. Like, we go to shows all the time, and there's always some new people, but there's always a lot of the same people. We'd never even knew who this guy was, so it's kind of cool to have somebody not that far from home from one of our favorite movies, and it's somebody we've never even seen. I think this was they said first U.S. autograph signing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I got him on my aliens poster. Barry got him on his aliens poster.
Yeah,
It was good.
Yeah, it was fun. And, I mean, really not that far from home, all things considered. It was worth, I was happy to make the drive to check it out.
Yeah, and we bought a couple stuff. I don't know if you're doing it in what's in the box.
I wasn't going to.
Yeah, so we could. You got some. We both got some.
Yeah, we
Star
bought some
Wars figures.
vintage Star Wars figures while we were there.
Now it's funny. I'll blame both of you for spending my money this week, But after, and we'll talk about Mando, after seeing R5, I said to myself, oh, I want to get a vintage R5. Because I only have the first 12 plus a couple others. And then Barry was looking at some of them. I'm like, oh, there's an R5. I need that. So I got a vintage R5.
And then I told Dave he needs to get the first 21 now instead of the first 12. So
we could do that.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to look at.
But I will say this. It is very nice to be able to look at something, hold it in your hand, and decide that you want to buy it versus looking at pictures online. I mean, I miss that.
Yeah. Yep.
When I was going around Facebook there in Newburgh, which is about 45 minutes from me, there's a toy show this Sunday. So maybe I'll go.
Ooh, what time?
I don't know.
So this is like total pre-show nothing, but I may be up by you on Sunday. I have to drop Joey off somewhere. So maybe I can meet up with you and we'll go.
Oh.
45 minutes closer to me or further from me?
Closer, I think.
I got something to do in Connecticut this weekend, so maybe we'll look into this.
We'll triangulate. Maybe
let's talk about that after the show.
I have to drop Joey off at noon, so if you can wait to go a little bit later into the show,
see
maybe
what time it is.
Tarrytown's near you, right?
Yeah.
Tarrytown's that's where I'm going to be. So.
You should go to that guitar store in Scarsdale, but it may not be open on Sunday. You don't need to buy a guitar. You do need to buy
that's the problem. I go to a place like that could cost me thousands. I go to a toy show, it might cost me $100 or $200.
Yeah, this is true.
All right, let's talk logistics, because that's from Tarrytown is south of me, and Newburgh is north of me. There's a tiki bar in Newburgh too. That could be a Sunday. We could have quite a. That's that new tiki bar I was talking about.
Well, and if Pam's around, I can drop Maria with Pam, and they can hang while we go to the tiki bar.
Okay, let's talk about that, because Mark will be leaving Sunday too. He's going back up.
I got to drop Joey off because he's going back to school. And this is riveting podcasting for everybody.
So, we're working out our schedules.
Yeah.
Anyway. So went to the toy show. It was good.
Yeah, I was happy. Toy shows, two in one weekend. It was great.
Exactly. All right, let's go. Are we going to go to Picard or Mando first?
Picard quick.
Yeah, let's get Picard out of the way. Quick. It's good.
It's good. Todd didn't love some of them, but you said you like this one better.
I think it's a little bit. You know what I really like? I like that they feel like they closed out something. I was really worried they were going to draw this same story.
Oh, I thought we'd be there for 10 episodes.
That's what I'm saying. And the fact that they very much wrapped it up. Okay, I was saying last week that I really want to see the Riker 7 show. Okay, I think Riker and Shaw, or Shaw and 7 could be interesting, in that here's two people who respect each other but don't necessarily like each other.
He's finally stopped being a dick, as she called him.
Exactly,
which was great.
And
they definitely found some common ground in this episode.
They found but for a good reason though. It wasn't forced. Okay, it was he
and it also helps explain why he has such a problem with Picard. He just has a problem with Ford.
And that's what I'm saying. This came full circle. I don't know that I could be any different towards Picard than he would be. Okay, given the same life experience. Okay, that was a really powerful story. And again, like all his crewmates, he randomly survived when all of his crewmates died, and the only one that they can point a finger at is who's not. Again, it's just
that made a lot of sense.
It was the only thing I would say, and maybe I'd be right there with you, Todd. That what else are you gonna? How else could you feel? But it wasn't like Picard had a choice.
No, it wasn't like he had a choice. But all those people died because of Picard. Okay.
They died because of the Borg.
They died because the Borg picked Picard's brain and knew the weaknesses of every single. Right. Knew all the Federation's weaknesses and exploited them, and without that would not have happened. This is kind of a retread of the Cisco thing, where Cisco basically had exactly the same feelings towards Picard initially, and could not see otherwise until he actually met him. And I think that's pretty understandable. I also think like I said, this is something that would persist in this guy's life. I mean, he never had a way of, he never looked the man in the eye, and probably never fully dealt with everything that he was dealing with until he had to, come face to face with this guy who is both technically blameless and responsible for the death of all of his friends.
How widely known do you think it is that the Picard that we're seeing here is actually a robot? You think anybody knows that?
I think his friends know that, and I think that's it.
I think that was a stupid thing that they did.
Oh, I think it was absolutely colossal.
Yeah, I'm just saying
did.
because if these people that hate him because he was a Borg knew that he's actually an android now,
Synthetic, yes, which is
Yeah.
that's
why did did they mention it this
They
season?
did. They have. They said
They really should have just said
in the positronic flash. It was
we were
like,
just kidding about that.
yeah, no, it was a dumb idea.
I know.
It
I
was
agree.
ridiculous.
There was a way around that. If they want, they could have used like one of Data's circuits to keep that thing in his head in check. Put like that, implanted that, and use that to instead of replacing him. I mean, it's just
I don't. Whatever.
It's still
It's fun. It's enjoyable. I'm glad you're liking it better. It's fine.
It
So-
was, and I liked how they used the ship. I liked that we saw the it's funny, the slingshot thing with the asteroid was something I thought of years ago. I was actually talking to Sean about this like a week ago, and I was saying how it was a potential useful weapon that we've never seen. They flung the ship at them, and then Riker did the exact same thing. I thought that was awesome.
I loved that line of, "Did you just throw an asteroid?"
Yeah, it was great. It was,
Wasn't his response something like, "You're goddamn right, I did," or something?
goddamn right I did. Okay, so let me just say, the Picard F-bomb, so unnecessary.
Yeah, I
Totally
agree.
honest.
They're trying to be
Not in character,
OTT.
not who he is. Riker, I could buy that. Seven, I could buy that. It's just
Seven,
not-
no, she's too proper.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah, it was too. It just out of character. Felt out of character.
Because we've only seen them on broadcast television, but yeah, it's not necessary. It's not
No,
necessary.
It really wasn't. And
We've seen them in movies too. That if they wanted to drop an F-bomb in a PG movie, they could have.
It's
but
just
they didn't need it.
They're pushing it. They don't need to do it. I agree with that.
Every time we've seen it in any of these series, it's felt weird
It
to me.
doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It does not feel right. And you want to. The other thing too is you want to think that this many years in the future, not that this is a huge deal. Like, really, this is still where people go. They've moved past all these other things, and they've still got the same expletives. I still have an issue with his 20-year-old son looking 35.
And they specifically said, "What are you, 23, 24?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." Like, what's up with that?
And then we see him 5 years ago when he was supposed to be 18? Okay, and he still looks the same age. I think they tried to de-age him a little bit, but it just.
And that actor's
why
on
get
another
that
show
actor?
that I watch, and I saw him pop up this week on that, and then I finally connected the dots that, oh my god, it's the same actor.
You know who? Yeah. Go,
And he's like 35. That guy.
was
I
35.
looked him up.
he was in Outlander.
Oh, is that? Yeah,
He's the pirate.
probably not.
He's the pirate in the
Probably
Raven's
not. I
pirate.
didn't probably get up to that part, but I've been watching a show on Netflix called You for I think they're in
Yep.
season 4, and he's in this season of that. And
I just don't get that casting.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I don't get it at all. It makes no sense.
it's like there's no 21-year-old actors anywhere.
Yeah.
even if he was 28, 29, maybe you could say, but he definitely looks too old.
He does not look younger than 30.
It's
Right.
just really a weird scenario, unless they had the actor or he's a friend or something. I don't know. Whatever. We're enjoying it. Let's moving on.
It is okay. Again, like I said, I liked it better, and I hope they kind of chunked this a little bit, that we're not going to see. Like I said, in the past, they just drew out the storylines too much, and it feels like some resolution here, and I like that part. So
There you go.
And there was no Raffi in this episode, which was good.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And no Worf,
People
which okay.
are
but-
saying online that they want to see a Raffi and Worf series.
no, we don't.
Couple
No,
of
seriously,
those.
I've read this in a couple different feeds, and I'm like, really? That's what you get.
She's
I see
annoying.
Raffi and Worf, and I think, God, can she just get killed in the next scene?
No wonder Seven dumped her. She's annoying.
He accidentally bobble the batleth and it just takes her head off and oops, sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Just, have a little too much blood wine and then,
Those headlines are ridiculous though, because I saw one today, and I'm going to help us transition into talking about Mando. I saw one today that said Mandalorian has forgotten what people liked about it. I'm sorry. No, they haven't, because it's been freaking amazing.
So there was criticism about the first episode being, not really all that much happening. And I mean, you can say that, but the reality is it's been 2 years since the first. They had to kind of like.
I thought enough went on in that first
I did
episode.
too, but I'm saying
so.
it wasn't, and
It felt longer than 35 minutes.
It did. I read a thing the other day that basically said episode 2 shows everything that was wrong with the first episode.
Oh, please.
Chapters. Wait a minute. These are chapters, people. Okay, not every single chapter is the same. not. It's like they can't be all evenly balanced. This was a fantastic freaking episode.
I thought the first one was good because I rewatched the first one, and then I watched the second one right after, and they're both good. I mean, there's a lot going on.
The
second one was good. So action-packed.
There's so much going on.
First one was good, maybe very good. The second was great.
But the first one we talked about, you had a space battle, you had a little shootout battle.
It was and
Giant monsters coming out of the water. I mean,
what else do you need?
You had to kind of also take a breather and kind of reintroduce him. And I liked it. I thought it was fine. The second episode, wow. I thought that was fantastic.
They got a lot going on. You got Bo-Katan, you're going to Mandalore, Let me ask you this though. Do you feel like they shoehorned R5 in there a little? He sucks, kind of. And where's IG-11? Like, you gave up on him?
They're trying to get up. They need a rare part to get IG-11 to work.
I understand, but he's already accomplished what he needed IG-11 for.
Yes and no. I have a feeling that as we move forward into this season, he's going to need
I think he's
a partner in crime or a
but
sidearm.
in his mind, he said,
I think this is the first thing they need IG-11 for. Honestly, IG-11 is going to be the babysitter droid. IG-11 is going to be the safe person that he can leave Grogu with when he goes and does other stuff.
Because you know what you didn't need IG-11 for? You didn't need IG-11 to scan the atmosphere.
Right.
Any droid could do that.
That's why I felt it was a little forced of like, first of all, he also, I guess he could move around. He certainly could move around better than R5 rolling around.
It's just good that every world they go to is flat. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just glad that R5 is finally getting a little love. I mean, we've met him back 45 years ago.
He got off Tatooine. Okay, so it took him a long time, but
you know that there are theories out there, fan theories, that R5 purposely blew his motivator at R2-D2's request so that R2 could go with Luke.
Well, there was a short like 6-page comic in the Star Wars Tales series where basically he's the Jedi droid, and his gift is perfect insight into the future, and he realized that had he been purchased, none of the things that were going to happen would happen, and so he intentionally.
Oh my God!
You know what his name was in that comic series, Todd? Here's some real trivia for you.
Okay, what?
Skippy the Jedi droid.
Skippy the Jedi. You were absolutely right. God, I read this 20 years ago, 15 years ago, but
that's a name you don't forget.
Yes. Yep.
That's pretty crazy.
The whole thing is, and he's just basically sitting in the same spot the whole time, and it's like, oh, and he's seeing these visions of all these things happening, and it's like, and none of this will happen if I go with them. Poof! And it was like pop. That was it.
That's pretty funny.
Yep.
But they should have made him he's definitely a scaredy cat. But
yeah, for sure.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen that. Okay.
It gives him personality too. I mean, I like that
oh yeah, he definitely does. But
they found a way to put humor back in Star Wars without it being Jar Jar stepping in a pile of bantha crap.
Right. And we know R2's personality. We know Chopper's personality. This is something else entirely. It's a different kind of thing, and it's like
and we know C-3PO's personality. He's a stuffy, fussy.
No, but what I'm saying in terms of astromech type.
Astromechs, yeah.
And this is something different entirely, but this also explains why he's been in a garage for 15 years. It's like, it works. So I also love the scamming the Rhodian, the selling of his own parts.
I was just glad it was a green Rhodian. That's the first green Rhodian we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, but I just thought it was great that she's working with the Jawas to scam him.
Well, and did you notice Pelly's tooth was missing? Because in the last episode of Book of Boba Fett, when she was in that rickshaw and she got knocked out of it, she lost a tooth.
Oh,
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, continuity.
Yep,
that's
good
funny.
Stuff.
But
and we haven't talked about the Mythosaur yet, but like that's something we've been hearing about for decades, right? And now we're actually seeing one. So
yes, yep. Did you think it was that big?
No, I knew it was.
I'm picturing
a big creature, but
yes, exactly. I'm thinking it's big. I'm not picturing the head is like 4 stories high. That's not what I.
So who supposedly battled him? Like the original Mandalorian?
The Mandalorians rode them. That's sort of the myth, is that the Mandalorian warriors of old rode these things and like used them as like for battle.
So it's basically like a sandworm. I mean, it's
freaking and if you actually go back to the first time we ever see Boba Fett as a character in the
holiday special,
he's riding a big beast. I mean, I don't think that's a mythosaur, but
no. Interesting.
And if you remember in season 1 of Mando, like when Queel is trying to get Mando to ride the Blurrg and he's struggling, he's like, "Come on, your people rode the mythosaur. You should be able to do this."
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Interesting.
But it's all legend, and that's
right.
That's the thing. I mean, this is like the Loch Ness mythosaur.
So here's a question I have, and I'm wondering if they're going to address it or not. I mean, and by the time people are hearing this, maybe they've already addressed it in this week's episode, and we haven't seen it yet. But he was going into the water, and then he dropped like a stone, and I was trying to figure out, did something pull him down, or did he just take the next step? And because when they showed that staircase from underwater, the steps were broken, and I just wondered if he walked in and fell, or did he get pulled down?
He had to have gotten pulled down because he didn't try to sit. You know what I'm saying?
Tread water or anything,
whatever like that.
But he was at the bottom, just sitting there when Bo-Katan finds him, as if he couldn't.
It was a little weird. I mean, that thing doesn't have tentacles and stuff, does it? I mean,
we don't know.
The only reason Bo was able to get out was because she had her jetpack on. I just wondered if the armor weighed him down or what happened.
I could see he thought it was steps and then just fell off, and then that's why she just went in to save him. But it seems a little forced that he's like the badass guy of the universe, and he had to get saved twice in one day by someone else.
Yeah. Yes and no. I think he got grabbed and dragged down. I do think.
I think that we were meant to think that. I was trying to figure out if so, because the mythosaur, when they came up out of the water, didn't go after them or just kind of let them go by.
Yeah. I also think that.
Maybe we'll see. I feel like they'll.
Yeah, I think we're going to see one way or another. But yeah, I think this was the Bo-Katan episode. Okay, I mean, we've never seen. She's always been part of an ensemble and everything else. Every time we've ever seen her before, this was where she came into her own. You got to see all of her potential. We were texting earlier this week. I love that he continues to kind of flail around with the dark saber.
Yeah,
we saw him doing that. She picks it up and it's ballet. Okay, it's like she was sliding, doing all these moves, taking that thing out, and it was it was like a Jedi with a lightsaber, and yet it's not hers at this point. And I thought, I thought that was really well done, and I thought, I liked her character better in this, to my detriment, than I have ever previously. In fact, I think it's so.
I think this episode might have inspired a few people to buy the Bo-Katan Hot Toys figure.
Yes, it may have. More on that soon.
Yeah, more on that soon. But no, I think she did great. I'll put it this way: last week we saw her we saw her briefly last week, right?
Yeah, yes. She was sitting on the throne. He came to see her, and
she just sits around that outfit all the time. Just
no
in the throne.
Interest. They wear these outfits all the time. No, I saw her and I was like, okay, now we're moving on. and I was totally fine.
Oh, I thought we'd get back to her. There's
no,
no
but
way.
I'm saying I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to see where we work her back into the plot. I'm saying I want to see more of what we saw this week. I want to see the two of them working together, and
she was helpful. She wasn't
she was
so
helpful.
standoffish. Even last season.
Yeah, she's been helpful, but
like I said,
I'm starting to feel like, you know, she was definitely she had lost her way. She was disillusioned, and I think seeing that mythosaur clearly
brings her back. I mean, she was so jaded of like, these are just waters. Read that thing. It's kind of BS. It's kind of a myth. Blah blah blah. And I think she's going to be like, whoa, I'm all in now.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And I think you kind of need that. I also really like the juxtaposition of his perception of Mandalorian versus her perception of Mandalorian.
Right.
And she continues to point out that, you know, he's affiliated with a kind of cult, and she's, you know, she's pure of the bloodline.
Yeah. I agree with
that.
I
mean, and they made it real clear. He grew up on the moon that was looking down at Mandalore.
Yeah.
She grew up in the palace. I mean, her sister was the queen of the Duchess of Mandalore, and her dad was the ruler of Mandalore. So
I almost wish he would be like, yeah, I could take my helmet off and on. I mean, are we never going to see him take his helmet off again?
I have a feeling that somehow they're going to bring all of the families and houses together, and that they're going to reunite, and maybe they'll have a common set of beliefs, and maybe we'll. But you know, if they do that, then we got to see Pedro on set more, and
I also wonder.
You think he's ever even there?
Whether the helmets is like an exile thing, and whether when they're brought back into the fold, you know what I'm saying, whether there's a reason for not taking the helmets off. Okay, like there's like a shame thing or something like that. They've got to atone in some way. And
well, he had it opposite. He had to atone for taking it off.
No, but what I'm saying is that group somehow will get past that.
That's curious. I'm wondering if that group will be like, wait a second. There's not only is there the waters, there's mythosaur. We could have been wrong. I mean, it's basically like the Protestants and the Catholics. I don't know what either one of them believe, but they believe different things. And one say, do you think they're going to give up their thing that quickly?
Well, again, like I said, if there's an explanation like that for it, again, if they're welcomed back into the fold instead of being outcasts, I could see that. And he wouldn't know that. He would not know that was, you know, the reason why.
It almost felt like that was an attraction, you know, with it had the sign and it was near the civic center or whatever.
She almost made it sound like she went there on a school trip. Like
it was like Trevi Fountain, like, and you just sort of
it is a historical site, and that's kind of steeped in legend that I'm sure she only partially believed until she actually saw that thing. You know, I think it's something that's so distant in their past. Right. That it's like as much legend. Well, the thing's called freaking mythosaur. Okay, I mean it's so far in their past that, you know, it's again it's sort of believed but not necessarily believed. You know,
no one ever took a swim down there and looked for anybody.
I think it's one of these things where it was dormant until the bombing or something like that.
That's probably true.
It could be like Godzilla, but
maybe it was only like the size of a German Shepherd, but now since the radiation, it's the size of a house.
Maybe. Ooh. I don't. Every time they talk about bathing in the waters, you know, the living waters, it just makes me think of Purple Rain. I don't know. Either of you remember that movie where Prince tricks Apollonia into?
I do remember Apollonia.
I do, because she had to go topless into the waters of Lake Minnetonka. And then he brings her to the lake, and she takes her shirt off and goes in the water. And she says, "There, I did it." He goes, "Yeah, it's all cool, except this ain't Lake Minnetonka."
Oh, that's funny.
I think it actually, I was watching it when I was thinking, it was like, okay, it's got to be unpleasant keeping that armor on, including helmet, all the time, but it's got to be that much worse when you're wet.
But you can seal the thing, which is
we know that now. Who knew?
How does it seal? Because
and his fingers were exposed until I don't know about that. So we'll see. But yes, we do know they did establish that.
I could seal my seriously. So maybe something like grows around it, like
I know we probably need to move on, but I did want to at least mention that really cool, creepy little guy that got inside all those machines, and I think that was all Phil Tippett stop motion animation, which was awesome.
No, that was great.
Had a little bit of General Grievous vibes when he was in the bigger suit, but
And
Very
then,
cool.
but then I did not expect him to be just a head, basically,
Right.
or basically like a big gushy eyeball. The other
And
thing
I didn't
is
expect him to start draining his blood. I mean,
It was
like,
also
that was
good to see.
pretty
It
hardcore.
was also good to see the creatures from the Time Machine. They really have not gotten much exposure since the '60s.
Yeah, those were like the
the
Morlocks,
Morlocks.
right?
It was good. It was just good that they finally got out of the cave.
Look, everything about that episode was awesome. So it was a great 45 minutes of TV.
Yep.
Great 45 minutes of Star Wars. I mean,
Yeah.
True.
awesome.
Why don't we jump into what's in the box before we hit our last topic, since we were referencing it?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Todd and I are going to go first because we both have the same thing that I blame. Todd's like, I think I need a Bo-Katan, and I'm like, maybe I do too.
Oh, you got them already?
I've been looking. I got mine yesterday. I've been looking at my Mando, and he's sort of standing there, and who better to go partner with him? I have my helmet still on because I literally just opened it.
I did too. I opened it like 5 minutes before we went on, but I'm going to have her holding a pistol in one hand and helmet in the other.
Helmet, yeah. But I got to say, the head sculpt is really good.
I think so too. I think so. And I guess
Why are you showing me this?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any
stands
more.
next to the
Boy has
armor,
at
but
least
now I have
Boy
two
has-
See,
Mandos.
you have the
We're in
armorer,
stock.
and you have Queel. I have nobody other than Grogu.
and I have
need
IG-11.
Oh. I need someone to hang out. And to me, it's certainly this season, if there's anyone to hang out with him, it's her.
That's a great looking figure. I mean, I'd seen
It's
pictures
really-
of it online, but it just looks
I'll
awesome.
tell you, it looks better than the picture. The likeness looks better than the pictures because the likenesses are always the prototypes. And
The sculpt is it's hard to.
Oh
is
God,
hard,
it
but
looks
it's-
just like her. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. The definite and the you get the attitude.
Oh, there you go.
It's great. It's absolutely terrific. And
Look, if I put my head, does it look like we're next to each other?
It does. It looks like
Kinda
you
does.
and Katie Sackhoff are together.
That's right, yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
You're like Wallowitz on Big Bang Theory.
Did you see she was at Galaxy's Edge and she put out a video?
I did see that. Yeah, she was building a lightsaber in the lightsaber workshop, and
Yeah.
look, we've been big fans of Katie Sackhoff since the beginning. I mean, she's been great. So, and I love that she did the voice on Clone Wars, and they carried her over as the actress into live action, which is great because she's able to do it, which is awesome.
And she brings a level of badassery to that character that it needs. Okay.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been a lightweight person. They could have got anybody to do the voice. It was perfect that they got her, and even more so that she's doing it live action.
Well, as much as I love Ashley Eckstein, she just wouldn't have worked as a live action Ahsoka.
No,
the
she
fact
wouldn't.
that Katie Sackhoff works as in live action just makes it that much better.
I agree. Yep.
Barry, what's in your box?
So I've got two small things. I'm not going to go with a Hot Toys figure, but something I ordered back when we were in Florida, Dave, and it just finally showed up. This is a coin that the Mayhew Foundation did for the 10th anniversary of the Peter Mayhew Foundation.
Oh,
It's got Chewbacca with C-3PO on his back. It's got this like little design across the top that looks like his bandolier, and on the back it's got their 10th anniversary logo. So I ordered one of these as donation to charity, which I love what the Mayhew Foundation does and try to support them in little ways, whatever I can.
cool.
The other thing I wanted to show you is also coins. And when we were in Florida, we got those gold coins that were the Star Wars coins for the 50th anniversary of Disney World.
Yep.
This year is the 100th anniversary of Disney, and they've got another whole series of coins out, and 4 of them are Star Wars coins. So somebody online was offering to pick them up for people, so I got a set.
Oh,
So the first one is Luke and Darth Vader dueling, and it's got the 100th anniversary. All of
and
them
they're
have the same.
silver.
They're silver this time, yeah. They all have the same logo on the back for the 100th anniversary. Next one is Yoda,
Oh,
and then there's a Han and Chewie,
cool.
and then there's a C3, an R2D2.
Oh, I
and
was going to say you
Princess
have
Leia.
to lay in there. Were they in the same kind of machines?
Same exact thing, same kind of machines, $5 a piece, or 5 for 20. Same deal.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, somebody was on one of the Star Wars groups offering to pick them up for people. basically at cost plus shipping. So I had them grab me a set.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. Cool. Okay, we're covering a lot of ground here, people. So The Last of Us season finale. There's spoilers again, just so you know.
Aired up against the Oscars. What do you think got higher ratings?
And I watched the Oscars just because, for some reason this year, I really wanted to see Short Round 1, which he won, Ki Hung Kwei. Sorry. That even though that movie sucked, I'm glad Brendan Fraser won. Anyway, and Barry and I were texting each other about Short Round and people's breasts.
And Eva
Longoria's breasts were not that way on the red carpet. I think her dress just got
shifted, but
spectacular, by the way.
You'd think somebody would have said something before she went out. Like they were obviously misaligned.
I think she looks great.
Oh, she certainly does. And trust me, I'm not, no fault.
She made she invested in the first John Wick movie and made a ton of money.
Really?
Yeah, I was just reading an article about
that's interesting.
The director, who said, he met her afterwards and realized that she had invested, because they made it really cheap. But anyway,
talking about a ton of money, and this is a total sidebar, but did you see that Ryan Reynolds is selling Mint Mobile for like $1 billion?
I don't think he's a minority owner. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah, not that he's a minority, but he doesn't own.
Yeah, he's not the majority owner.
Yeah,
that's what you're
he doesn't own a ton of it.
Right.
But so I don't know if he made $1 billion, but
well, good for them.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to
so The Last of Us.
Yeah.
It's funny. I saw I watched it the next day, so I didn't see any spoilers, but I'm like, people's reactions to the finale, and I don't know anything about the game. I don't know anything. But I was a little surprised. I really felt the journey to get her to the hospital or the doctors would have been not this season at all.
Yeah, well, and I've never played the game. None of my kids have played the game, but they were more aware of the game than I was. But I guess that their original plan, because they didn't know how popular it was going to be, was because there's 2 games. They were going to do the first season as the first game, and the second game was going to be broken up. I guess it's a bigger story, so they were going to break it up into multiple seasons. But they definitely could have stretched this out. But I think that they went into it not knowing if it was going to get renewed, and they didn't want to tell half a story, which I give them credit for.
Yeah, and it was renewed, by the way. They just announced it was renewed.
It was renewed.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know where they're going, and I don't want to know, and I don't want to see the game, but I don't know where they're going next season. But, first of all, let me back up. Ashley Johnson was the perfect person to play her mother.
Oh, totally.
Oh, my God. It's like you could see, when I first looked at her, I was like, is this supposed to be her in 20 years? I thought the same thing.
Is this her growing up?
20 years? And then we're going to find out all this has been a memory. And then I was like, no, this is her mother. And that was great.
That was heavy duty. I mean, they in 5 minutes, they gave her whole... really well done, here's what happened, here's where she came from, and basically here's why she has this immunity in one incredibly intense scene. And Ashley Johnson was perfect. She's the girl from Blind Spot who did who was the girl in the chair and looks exactly like a grown-up version of
but also has that same
Ellie.
wide set face and
it just same shape face,
same shape. It was perfect. And I gotta say this, they've done a bunch of these kind of cutaway things. They've all served a purpose. Okay, I mean, when we watch, and I keep making this analogy, but we watched Walking Dead. You'd have an episode that was about nobody in the story, and it didn't add anything to the story. It was just filler. Every time we divert from the main story in this, we get another piece. We get something that fills in and ties it together, and you understand this world better, and you understand the people in it, and why they are the people they are. And that was a perfect example of that one scene.
You got so much out of that.
Closed all these questions that we had, it established a relationship with Marlene. It established that, who she was, very likely why she's immune. It was, again, I thought that was
really cleverly done.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I did not play the game, but I have played a lot of games over the years, and that final rampage that he went on to get to her, where every time he would run out of ammo, he'd pick up another gun, and that was done so well because it was so much like the gameplay of a video game where you run out of ammo and then you take a gun off of somebody and then you take something else and you keep changing weapons, and that's the way games work.
But the other thing is, it didn't seem unlike him. You know what I'm saying? You saw that side
and
of him.
it didn't seem
you knew he would do
inhuman.
this.
Like, it didn't seem like he was superpowered, right? Like
Right.
a lot
That's
of
the other
times
thing, but
you
also-
get
One of
that
my-
from video game characters.
One of my criticisms with this show is, and Todd and I talked about this, there's plenty of guns and he doesn't take all of them. You in the apocalypse, you take every gun you can get your hands on.
Now, Maria
And he
said the
never
same
did
thing
that.
to me when we were watching it, but I felt like if he had taken all those rifles, he would have been bogged down.
No, I don't even mean in this scene. In this scene, he did, but he winds up with a revolver and a bolt action hunting rifle. There's way more guns to be had, and he never
Does
did a good
really
job.
well
of that.
with those, though, and that's the thing. The other thing too,
But he also could
I
probably
think-
find ammo for those guns more than some of the other guns.
I think someone walking with an AR-15 is seen very differently in some of the
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
But
and I think he's trying to get by as someone trying to get by, and not someone who's who themselves is a predator. And I also think that I think they did a great job with his character, a fantastic job with her character. She just did phenomenal throughout this series. She balanced being a kid with being in this really horrible reality, and again, I just think it was very
and you
well
do
done.
see her growing up because of her circumstances.
Yeah.
She was definitely a different person in this episode because of what she went through in the last
I have
one.
a question for you guys, though, because this was like the Spock dilemma at the end of it, right? Did the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? Like, did they make the right decision?
It's
Well,
no,
that's
there's no
the
question.
big picture.
And that's the thing. But the thing is, they did what was right for these characters. Okay, he was not going to let her die. Okay,
But should he have?
Oh,
If they could really cure this
it
thing.
absolutely could have. Okay, but the point that he got her there, it would not have been in any way, shape, or form believable for him to have gone along with her being vivisected. Okay, it just
I agree with that. I guess I'm just taking a step back and saying,
Oh, yeah, that's
He's
the
gotta
big
live
question.
with
The
it.
big
Yeah, I
question,
mean,
did
gotta
he
live
do
with
the
that
right
for
thing?
the rest of his life? Okay, knowing that they may have done that. Honestly, he should have killed the two nurses. Okay, but
well, I'm guessing somehow that sets up season 2.
oh, I think so too, because now there's two surviving people that know that he's out there, she's out there. But
I love that we didn't hesitate with the doctor either. It was like,
I know.
no,
I know.
but he also knew that there were people behind it. There were still people there. He was singular in his purpose. I think that his last words from the last episode made everything in this episode that happened clear. Okay, it's like at the end of the previous episode, by that point, she was his daughter.
Mhm.
Okay, and there was and he hesitated momentarily and lost his daughter in the very first episode. That will never happen again.
Yeah, and he even said to her, she's the one that's got him over,
Right.
his
Yep.
deal.
Right.
Hey, is it a philosophical or a moral question? Like, did you do? Then the question is, what would anyone do with their kid? First of all, and there's something I don't like about it, but the setup of, it's happening right now. So if you could take a step back and like, wait, let's talk about this. Can't you take a sample and do this and blah 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 blah?
Well, the other thing too is-
he didn't have that chance.
Is it?
Would you kill
Possible
everyone?
that she's the only one. Okay. I mean, it's like there's got to be somebody else, and I don't know. There's a lot of just different justifications for it. If it had been my child or someone I cared for, like my child, you would not have convinced me that that was the only solution at that moment.
I agree. So that's why you got to kill everybody. And then the other thing is, Marlene knows how
That was
it
a
happened.
bait and switch. That was a bait and switch. She knew if these people are callous enough to do what they were going to do, they could duplicate the circumstances of this.
Exactly what I'm saying. Or maybe you could do it with a monkey or something. No offense to monkeys, but maybe you could do it at least with something else.
Yeah.
Because Marlene knew. So she's a little
she was
full of
there
shit.
from the beginning.
It was no
Yeah.
mystery. It was presented like it was a mystery, but it was not a mystery. And this kid also was incubated. I mean, they basically, she's been watching this kid her whole life. Okay, we got that in the early episode. Okay, in the beginning.
Well, we got that, because we did not know.
She didn't understand
She didn't
why.
know until she got bit and didn't die that. She didn't know early on.
That's
right?
true.
She didn't know till the kid was a teenager.
But she also knew who this kid was and where she was.
No, she knew, but Marlene wasn't in the room when she cut the cord, so she doesn't know exactly.
Marlene didn't believe her. She did
Right.
not believe her when she told her.
But Barry's right, because if Ellie got bit 6 months ago or whenever
But
it was,
she knew. But I'm saying, as soon as she saw her, she
should have known. Oh my God! I bet this was when she was born.
She put
blah,
those
blah,
things
blah.
together.
Yes,
Okay.
and she should have been a little more like, can't we just replicate this with
and again,
a baboon? No offense
and-
to the baboons.
yeah, she.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I didn't necessarily see it coming that it was going to be. Oh well, the only way you're great that you got her here. The only way that we can actually
I
utilize
didn't see
her is
that
to
at all.
kill
I
her.
didn't see.
I
any
didn't
of
see
this
that coming.
Okay, and so I'm just going to say this. Okay, if they had no hesitation whatsoever to kill her, they should have put a bullet in his head when they took him.
Did they
Well,
think he'd
especially because
understand?
Marley knew what he was capable
This
of.
is what I'm saying.
But-
exactly, Barry.
but
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
that's a
why let
good
this
point.
guy? Why take the chance that you leave this guy who's done everything? She even acknowledged that everything he did to get her there. Okay. I mean, maybe she just really misread him and really thought.
Maybe
that
she
this
thought. I was
cargo.
going to say maybe she thought he was
really
the
was
guy who's
cargo.
like, I delivered the package. I'm done.
Yeah.
She didn't know. I think that's got to be it, because she didn't know the bond that they got.
Yeah, because they knocked him
created.
out the minute they found them. So
But if there had been some like implicit, like, oh, here's your payment kind of thing, something like, like Mandalorian. Okay, here's your ice cream maker. Now you can go. Leave the kid and go. That's interesting. Hadn't thought of that before. Okay, anyways, but no, it's like, oh, great job. You're here. You did it. Okay, now we're gonna kill her. It just didn't seem like I
Well, then we wouldn't have had the episode. But
No, we
there's
wouldn't
enough.
have. We wouldn't
There's enough to say they just did. He did his job. He did. He's moving on. Fine.
Yeah.
Why kill him? So anyway, the thing. And again, I'm sure we'll get into this next season and all this stuff whenever that happens in 2 years. I don't like that he lied. I almost rather have had, you want to know something? They were going to kill you, and I had to kill them. Or he lied to her.
He lied to her, but he's brought her back to where she can live the rest of her life. Okay, there is no reason to burden her with that.
I guess. Yeah, that's the thing that we have.
yeah,
very
but I also
burdened.
feel like
He's
she
been carrying
is.
burden his entire life, or 20 years. He can carry more. He really can.
I also feel though like she is old enough that if they hadn't just taken her away and knocked her out and were planning to kill her, if they had given her the choice.
Yeah, then she'd have to live with that. So you really can't tell her. Like, she could have been, wait, I could have done it, and then she's got to
And
live with,
that's what I'm saying.
you killed
You don't wanna
everyone
take a
for me,
chance that
and I
she's
could
gonna
be
run
the cure.
away to try to do by her perception
Yeah.
what the right thing is. Okay. The other thing was telling her there's other people like you. They've been testing. It didn't do anything. Making that whole thing up. He was, he's very vested in protecting her.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they can also, at the other camp, they can test her blood. They can do whatever. I mean, there may be a lot less invasive ways of looking into, what's going on here.
You think she believed him when he told her that?
No, she didn't believe him.
Yeah, I mean, she was like, "Tell me that you're telling me the truth,
No,
and I'll believe you."
This is the story of next season. Is her not accepting that, and they're growing apart and whatever. But I'm saying this is, and people coming after them, obviously. But again, I liked it. I felt like
It was heavy duty.
It was heavy duty. They didn't do the easy thing at any juncture in this show. I freaking love the giraffes.
Sure. They were real giraffes, by the way.
Yeah, they were real giraffes.
I read that today.
So
I saw a little video.
So what are they? I'm like walking around a parking lot, and then they just CGI'd and everything.
No, I don't know. But they said wherever they were filming, there happens to be giraffes close by, so they brought them in. It probably was green screen. It's all green screen, obviously.
Yeah. So because they were in a stadium that was like overgrown and had become
It's like a baseball stadium. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Because it was scoreboard and stuff.
I'm like, please don't kill and eat the giraffes.
Oh, I know. But I love that scene, and it's that is the great thing about this series was like everything you expected was there, but they just kept turning pages, and you'd see things. Boy, I never expected that coming, and they did this, and it wasn't all like, jump scares. It was, you just don't know what's next, and yeah. I thought it was great. I'd be happy to see another season, but I think they did a great job wrapping this up and making this what this was for those two characters. I think it's.
And I guess there's going to be some type of time jump, but they said they're definitely not going to recast her. So
I hope not. She's so good.
Yeah.
She's also like 21 or something. I mean, she's
is she really?
No, she's old. She's much. I mean, maybe she's 19, but she's about 4 years older than she is in here. So they're playing her young. They could make her look a little older if they need to. So, again, I think it's great. I have no reference to the source material whatsoever. But as a story, I think it was really well done.
Yeah.
Yep, me too. I liked it.
Me too. Really, I'm enjoying it. It'll probably be more than a year.
If you've not watched this, we apologize for spoiling it. If you've not watched this, pace yourself. It's
you cannot binge watch it in like a weekend.
Yeah, and I know we referenced it last week. My original plan was to let it all play out and then just binge watch it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't do that. I mean, I did that with like the first 3 episodes, but then after that,
I did too. And when I was sick, I watched like 2 at a time.
It's been much more intense since the first 3 episodes.
Yeah,
so,
it's a lot.
Yep.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Okay.
People are making joke about the apocalypse like there's no tomorrow.
I know. That was funny, actually. So let us know what you thought about all that stuff. We're watching all that stuff. Amanda's good. Last of Us. We don't see Ashley Johnson enough. I'm glad to see her.
Yeah, and it was funny because when I saw her, I'm like, I know her from somewhere. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, it's Blind Spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a great show until it wasn't.
Exactly.
Like most shows.
Okie dokie. Any last thoughts? The dude who played the creature from the Black Lagoon passed away, and I, off the top of my head, don't remember exactly his name. Something with an R.
A skinny dude who could swim.
But he was, I think, like a diver and a stuntman. And I'm looking up his name, and I cannot find it.
Well, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Creature.
Rico Browning, 93.
Okay.
I met him at one of those Chiller or something, I think.
Yeah.
I think I got his autograph. So rest in peace, Rico.
On a more positive, go out on a more positive note, I know we touched on it, but those pictures that have been circulating of Short Round and Indy, and then like flash forward to them hugging on stage at the Oscars. Like those pictures are
that's great.
And there was a picture of Steven Spielberg and Kate Capshaw with him from when he was on set in Indiana Jones, and then them in the same exact positions now.
Oh, that's great.
Backstage at the Oscars. It was just great to see. What a story with him. I mean,
dude, he won everything. I hope
he was in a couple of movies as a kid, and he was in Encino Man.
and with Brendan Fraser.
He was on a TV series on one of a sitcom for a while, and so
good for him. I hope he leads to the more bigger and better stuff.
And I hope to God they film some kind of cameo for him in Dial of Destiny.
Oh, they gotta. How do they not?
It would be such a missed opportunity if they just didn't green screen something.
Even just like I put him on a phone call or something.
Something.
It's yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, all good. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.